Hi everyone, this is Kyle with kayDbait. I wanted to make a special video today. It's a video for my friends. I'm going to link this video directly to each of you individually, just so you know who you are, I guess. Since a lot of you don't watch my videos because they're political and people don't like to talk about politics very often. I've been talking to my friends a lot about problems or about things that are going on, I have different friends that have different interests and different ideas of what they like to talk about, and sometimes it's about family, or sometimes it's about religion or politics, and some people just like to talk about nothing, just shooting the breeze, or however you want to phrase it. So I have a lot of different groups of people, and I try to get some of them to oh, you like this, so maybe you'll like to talk to this person about the different perspectives. And so I've introduced people, but most of the time they just kind of fall away from it, because it's like, oh, I know you, but I don't really know you. So then they fall back on their old friends, and that's fine. But I wanted to talk about a couple of the different things that I have been, like, not specifically, not like, oh, this person's been doing this, because I consider that gossip, but some of my friends have been going through stuff, and I've been talking with them. And I feel that for me, it's a interesting position for how I feel about these things, because a lot of the time the problems are very personal. They're very hard to, even if I wanted to explain these things, because I'm not going to break people's trust and start talking about specifics, but they're so in depth, and I'm out of my depth in trying to help. So I want you to know, and I'm sorry that I'm not looking at the camera's up there, but my screen is over here. Actually, I should make this bigger. There. Okay. I had my screen off to the side. I want you guys to know that I'm trying to help when I can, and when I can't help, or I don't think I can help as much as you might need the help, that I try to say go and seek help professionally. I used to be a lot better than, maybe because the problems weren't quite as big, or I didn't know that they were as big. Someone's sad, we'll go talk to somebody, or somebody's having a bad time. Somebody's bullying them. Well, talk to a school, or talk to the counselors, or whatever. And then I started getting older, and the problem started getting more in depth. It's like, so and so is cheating on me, or so and so, I think they're hurting somebody. And like, these are big deals, and I'm not sure how to, go to the police, go see a counselor. These things are so far out of my depth, and I try to be there for my friends, and I try to be there to listen, and when they request, give advice. I don't go out of my way as often to try and give unsolicited advice, like, oh, this person's venting to me, I'm going to try to tell them how to fix their problem, when I don't really know the specifics of their problem. And I found that I used to try to do that. I used to, somebody's venting to me, that means they want help, and that's not always the case. So I apologize if I've been doing that. Again, I'm going to link this to the people that I'm talking about, or talking to, I guess, is in this case. I just want to say that I do value the friendships that I do have, and they're different kinds of friendships as well. There's some people that I'm very, very close with. I spend most of my time either thinking about ways of making them happy, or of trying to solve little things that they might be going through. I'm just thinking about them a lot, and I consider that to be one of the things that I do to show friendship. And I know some people don't do that. Like, a lot of people would rather their friendships be more casual, or they're not as interactive. It's like, I don't have to see you for a couple months, or even a year, and you'll always be there, and that's good too. I don't see anything wrong with that. But for me, it's a much more active and more personal kind of thing. If I don't talk to you for a really long time, it's not that I don't care. It might be because I don't know how to interact properly, and I'm just trying to let you set the things, and for you to contact me when you feel like you want to talk. And I feel that I have actually lost some friends because of that, because they think I didn't care, and then they just never came back. But for a lot of people, I don't know where the line is drawn for interactivity. If I feel like I'm bothering you or something like that, then I might not contact you as much. That's happened a few times actually. But lately, and this is the reason I wanted to make this video, is one of my friends was going through something that I can only describe as horrendous, and they always tried to say that it wasn't as bad as it was, and then I found out it was after the fact, and I felt really bad. Like it was weird because I helped I didn't help their problem. I helped solve part of their problem without even knowing that the problem was as big as it was. And I wanted to say, look at me, I helped. I want to be proud of myself, and I want you to be proud of me, and I want everyone to see what good I did, because in my mind, I seek that kind of recognition because I don't get it very often. And I know that's wrong in my mind. I shouldn't demand, I shouldn't expect praise or some kind of compensation. I should never expect that for when I try to help, because I wasn't seeking that in my actions. I just wanted to help somebody that I thought was going through something. I didn't know what it was. And then after the fact, I found out that it was really, really bad, and I wasn't like, my immediate response was I did something wonderful, but at the same time I had the guilt associated with I shouldn't think that I am wonderful. My actions were just normal. They weren't extraordinary. I didn't lose anything helping them. Why do I think I deserve this? So I told that to my friend, and I told him, I want this recognition, but I also know I shouldn't be saying that kind of thing. And it wasn't even me that really did much. I pushed him to solve his own problem because he didn't know how to solve it. And I was like, well, if you do this, and then you do this. Because he asked me for help. He says, like, can you help me with this? I'm like, okay, sure. And he really just wanted motivation or some kind of solution to his problem. And I gave him a whole bunch of different possibilities. We talked for hours and hours, for weeks. Almost every day we talked for several hours about, not always about that, but about lots of stuff. And just today, or actually technically yesterday, because I haven't gone to bed yet, he said that this thing happened and it was better. Like, this big thing happened and everything was so much better than it was before. And I wanted to just hug him and say, we did it. But I don't want to be like that kind of egotistical, I'm not really involved in this. I was just doing what I thought I was supposed to do. And I know, and this is the issue with my mind and how my mind works, is I am broken in a lot of the ways that my responses to things are, my associations with things. When I was growing up, I was told flat out, never be prideful. No matter what you do, you should not be proud of your actions because that is a sin. And I disagreed with that very strongly. It still messed me up, but it was just this idea. And throughout my life, I've made a lot of mistakes. I've trusted people I shouldn't have. I've helped people not knowing that they were bad people. And it's just all of these things were building up and building up throughout my life. And whenever I do something that is, you unquestionably good, and I didn't even know I was doing it at the time. I just thought I was doing something little, and something so good, and I just wanted that in that moment that I heard it. For one thing, I was surprised that the problem was as big as it was. I was worried about him, and then it was fixed. It's like finding out your friend was in danger, but they're fine now. So how do you feel about that? And there was a whole bunch of things all happening in my mind at once, and the one thing that popped into my mind that made me feel guilt was that I shouldn't be thinking about me at this point. I should be thinking about them. And I was, but it's just, it was a whole bunch of things all at once, and I needed to explain that to him, that when he said he was going through this, and he was hiding it from me because he wanted to protect me from the situation, and I don't know if he really understood that he gave that away at that point. And I was just talking to him, and I was like, I need to tell you something right now, because I didn't want to make it about me. I wanted to celebrate with him this wonderful thing that happened, this terrible thing that got better at least. And it was hard for me to do because I also didn't want to ruin the moment, or I didn't want to make it about me, and I didn't want to like remind him of the bad or whatever like that. But it's really hard for me to deal with these kinds of things because they're big, they're very powerful inside of me. And it was I try to do that with my friends a lot, and I just don't like. I try to help like actively, like my friend suffering. I have many friends that are going through hard times, like they're either that they're having life altering things happen to them, and I try to be there to support them. I try to be there to help. Those are little things, and then when they come to me with really big things, because I'm somebody that listens and tries to help, and I'm out of my league, I was like, well, I can't help you. I don't know how. And if I try to, I fear that my advice will either backfire in some way or not be as helpful as it should be, or they become reliant on me, and which I also don't want. And I actively avoid. I'm not gonna be somebody's emotional battery. I'm not gonna let them leech off of me every single day instead of fixing their problems. And obviously, I would help sustain somebody while they get back on their feet, but I don't want to be a battery and then they come to rely on me instead of fixing their problems, is what I mean. And it's just my friends, I care so much about them. I care about all of them in different ways. They're all important to me in some fashion, be it somebody that I can rely on to help when I'm down, or somebody that is just they're always so active and somebody to look up to, and I might even idolize some of them, and I do, and I want to be more like them, and I look up to them and I try to help them when they're down because I know that they would do the same thing for me. You know, they're some of them, I wouldn't call them heroes because they're just doing their thing, and their thing is just so wonderful, and hero is more a larger than life kind of thing. And so I really don't want to misuse that word, and I also don't want to get, because when you call somebody a hero, they're not going to really believe you. And it's a very cheesy kind of thing to say anyway. But I do look up to a lot of my friends for different reasons. Their moral character, or their determination in not giving up in the face of adversity. Their purity in their morals, like those kinds of things, their character, are very profound for me. And there's some people that I do get annoyed with, or I do have arguments with, but it's not because we're clashing because of anger. It's almost always because of just some stupid thing that's going on. Maybe one of us had a bad day and we said something stupid, or somebody's just doing something that's aggravating over and over again. You know who you are. But it doesn't mean I don't care. It's just I hold people to a higher standard. And I know that's kind of a messed up thing to do as well. But I want people to understand the reason I do that is because I see you as so much better than other people might. And maybe even yourself. I know a lot of people that have self-esteem issues. I don't know why I was saying social. A lot of my friends have self-esteem issues because they were either hurt in their past. I used to have self-esteem issues. I still do, I guess, but not nearly as bad because I can actually see it. And I know a lot of people, they're like, no, I'm not that good. I'm not that good. Or they will say they're good, but then they'll always add a but. And you can tell that they're just putting on a show for you. They're not really happy with certain things. But I'm trying to say that I understand, and I'm trying to say that I'm trying to be there. And it's not always easy because it's really hard for somebody like that to let me in, or for me to ask to be let in, because some people just they don't want the risk, and I try not to be pushy, I try not to be dominant, and sometimes I have to be, and this is the case with my friend that I helped. I was very very pushy, I was very demanding because they asked me to be. They said, I need help, please just do what you can to help. And again, they weren't being really clear on how big the issue was. I thought I was just helping them with motivation. I didn't know it was something that was putting them at risk for other things. But I wanted to make this video to explain to my friends, and I will be posting this publicly, but this is for my friends. I care about all of you very much, and it's it's kind of a weird kind of dynamic, I guess, because I have so many different kinds of friends, and I talk to you all differently. I try not to treat you as I treat you all as people. That's very important for me. Is you are all people. But when you have different goals or you have different personalities, and I try to match my behavior to fit within your kind of social structure, because some people want to talk all the time, they want to talk about certain subjects but not others, and I try not to go beyond that. I try not to step on your toes, so to speak. And I don't like walking on eggshells, and that's what I don't feel like. I wouldn't be your friend if I felt like I was doing that. It's like, oh, I can't bring this thing up, or they're actually going to start yelling. I don't like that. I can't handle that kind of thing. But a lot of my friends, and I'm shuffling through them in my head to see who am I talking to right now. I'm trying to talk to all of you. I have friends all around the world. I have friends that they're so different, and yet they're all so wonderful. And it's hard to put it into words, I guess, because when you have such a wonderful group of unique individuals, and you want them to either get along with each other just so you can share the group dynamic. I don't know. I'm rambling. It's like when one of them watched one of my videos earlier today. I didn't tell them that I posted videos, and they were terrible videos. I just really wanted to get something out because I hadn't in a long time, and I felt motivated, and I just needed to do something. And I don't know how he noticed. I guess he was just on YouTube, and he noticed because he's watching me or something. But he's like, I'm gonna go watch your video, and I didn't say anything about it. I was just like, okay. And I was like, this is a terrible video. I feel embarrassed that one of my friends is watching my video, and he never commented on it, and I wasn't sure if he liked it or not. And I wanted to make something better. And this is that, my mind works in steps in that way, I guess. Is he commented on wanting to watch a video, and I was like, I need to make better videos. And then other things came up, and I was talking about a lot of other things, and I wanted to talk about something of importance, and this is what came up in my mind. And I'm just trying to get all of this like coherently out, that my motivations for my friends and for everyone really, I'm trying not to put one ahead of the other. My focus has always been help as many people as you can, and my friends are the people that I believe do the same thing, maybe in their own way. They're not always active, donating to charity or running around fighting bad guys, though I know one of my friends who does. They're in the military, and I think they understand what that means, and I understand what I think I understand at least partly of why they do it. And you can agree or disagree on that stance of being in the military, but as far as a human that wants to protect, that wants to help, I understand that. So all the other political ideological arguments, I'm not putting that in there. I'm just seeing the humanity of somebody that wants to protect, that wants to help, and they see that as their way of doing it. And so I see them with great respect. I see them, and they talk about this, the funniest. I almost said stupid stuff. It's not stupid, but it's so different than a lot of other people. It's like they're always talking about bikes, and they're always talking about these new products that they're really interested in getting, and it's not, and they're trying to get healthy again. And even though they're in the military and they're already healthier than I am, they're trying to manage their stuff, and they're dieting, and they're exercising more, and they're looking at all these things, and they're budgeting better. And it's just all of these adult things, and they talk about it all the time, and I'm like, I know it's not something I'm interested in, because I'm not interested in biking, and I am trying to become a healthier person as well, and I've lost almost 10 pounds in the past few months, but it's just, I find it like it's so different than my other friends who are into gaming, or who are into all these other things that are more what I do, as opposed to things that I don't. So they do have this unique little spot, and I don't know. It's just one of those things. I have another friend who I haven't talked to in a long, long time. It's their birthday yesterday, and I wish them a happy birthday, but they weren't online, so I couldn't talk to them. But that's another thing. There's a lot of things related to my friends that have been happening lately, which is what one of the things that inspired this video is, happy birthday. I wanted to wish you that properly, and I tried to, but Skype, and you weren't there, and I don't have your phone number that I remember, and I obviously you were probably busy, so I just wanted to say that you're there too. I'm not going to forget. So I'm trying to like go through each one. You'll all know who I'm talking about when I say these things. And I'm just thinking about the people watching. And I know some people are probably not going to want to because this is just me rambling, but I have so many good friends. I'm so thankful. And I hope that I'm doing a good job being a friend, I guess. I know that's kind of a stupid thing to say because friendship isn't a job. It's not an obligation or something you can really quantify. But I do know that friendship is something that is very important to me in being a good friend, somebody that is reliable or trustworthy or that's valued as a person for the acts that they do or the character that they have. And again, that's why I hold other people to a higher standard as well, because you're not a friend if you let somebody do wrong and not be a good person. So people are always like, I grew up with a lot of people that told me just do what I say, and that's what makes you reliable. You're a reliable person if you do as you're told, or you don't rat on your friends, or you don't question their actions. And I don't believe that's true. I try to tell people, I want you to be a better person. I want you to be the kind of person that you can look up to. And I know for some people, the golden rule, do unto others as you wish to be done unto you, doesn't apply because they're horrible people and they're going to scam you anyway. But I do know that those are the kind of people I don't want to be friends with, for one thing. But I do understand the value of a friend that tells you when you're doing something bad, and objectively bad, stealing, lying for no reason, hurting people for your own benefit. I've had people do that, and I've said, this was a long, long time ago when I was still in high school. I went to a store with my friend. We went from high school, we walked to the store that was across the street it was across the highway pretty much, and we went to the mall area, and we went to a couple of game stores, and then we went to a couple of other stores, and when we were leaving, he bought like one or two things, and I bought maybe one thing, I don't remember, and he was pulling out, I think I mentioned this in another video, he started pulling out, Yu-Gi-Oh cards or some cards out of his sleeves, and like, I don't remember you buying those things. When did you get those? And then he said he stole them, and I was very upset about it. And I told him, if I ever see you doing that again, I personally will report you to the people, and I will get you arrested. And he never did it in front of me again, and I believe that he hasn't done it since, or at least not since he's grown up. I don't know why, if he matured, or maybe maybe because I moved away and I haven't seen it. I honestly believe that he doesn't want to be that kind of person. And I believe that it wasn't me that fixed it. I didn't turn him straight, or whatever the heck you want to say, use the terminology. But I think that's an important part of friendship, is telling somebody when they're doing wrong so that they can correct it. And I'm not talking about judgment. I'm not talking about, you're a bad person and I'm going to make your life bad. I don't know why I use that accent, but it's just it's about trying to hold them to a standard that they should be holding for themselves. He was going down a very bad path, and I know it sounds judgmental, and I guess in some ways it is, but I was trying to be a good friend, and I didn't know the way. I didn't know what the proper thing was. I just knew that it was wrong. I knew that if somebody had done that to him, it would hurt him, and I didn't think that that was something that he would, if he was looking at it from the outside, do. So I try to do that for my friends as well. It's like, you're not being fair, and I've used that before. Is, you're not being fair, and I think the people that have known me for the longest, I have one friend that's been around for years, and I think he understands. I mean, he's a very argumentative person, and we've had our fair share of disagreements, but there are a few times where he was actually being unfair, even though he was hurting, and he said something that really hurt me as a person, and I told him, "You're not, you shouldn't be able to say that. You're not being fair." I don't know how I worded it. It was a very, very painful time for me because I was trying to help, and he pretty much insulted me as a person. And the next day, he actually apologized and said he shouldn't have said that. And while it still hurt that he said those things, I felt a relief that he was able to see it and admit it, because it's very difficult to admit when you mess up, especially when you're angry or when you're not feeling well, because life gets bad. And so, and I you'll know who you are too, and I apologize for using. I know you don't like being used as an example for something, but I just wanted to explain something that I do value, that you have that objectivity, that it is very rare for you to actually say something that's not fair, or to make an argument that isn't at least somewhat fair. Everyone has their own opinions about things, but I think you're a very objective person. I think you're a very good person, and I hurt when you hurt, and I know that you're going through some stuff, and I'm trying to be there, and I know I'm not doing a good job, but I'm trying. I just don't know what to do sometimes. So I've been trying to help. And I guess that's most everybody. I mean, there's obviously more. There's always going to be more people, and I do apologize if you come across this and you know me and I didn't link it to you. There is a lot of people that I'm talking about in general, but there are a few that I mentioned specifically, and I'm only going to be linking this to maybe 5 people, I believe. And I know I have more than 5 friends, and I know I value all of you in your own ways, though I don't want to like spam this to everybody, and then people will look at it like, why are you sending me this? You're not talking about me in this video. I can name a few right now. It's just Marcus or Mitchell or some like my brother. I'm not gonna link it to my brother, obviously, but I haven't talked to any of you in so long, and this really, I actually used one Marcus as an example, but I'm not really sure that I would say that we really, because I don't know you very well anymore, and and it's not that I don't want to know you more, talk to you more, but the last few times that we talked, it was always very rushed, and it was very, it wasn't distant, but it was always kind of, I invited you to San Antonio to live, to move in with me, actually, because I thought you were so awesome, but then things fell through, and then we stopped talking for a long time, and that's the example of me. I'm not sure where I stand, so I just let you talk to me, and you don't message me, so I just very, very rarely, when something pops up on your news feed that I'm interested in talking about, and I'll message on it, and then we talk maybe 5 minutes, and then you're gone again. But there's just a lot of different people that I talk to, and I guess I maybe it's that I don't know how to do it very well. I'm a very passive person when it comes to communication, unless you're somebody that I'm really, really, really want to talk to, then I'm very passive otherwise. And I don't know if that's a good thing, but it's just who I am. and it's how I am comfortable in being. And so I just wanted to make this video to try and address a lot of the things that are going on in what's in my head, and because my head is a very confusing place. So it's I think it's a good place for me, in at least in regards to this kind of circle of friends that I have. Is you all add something to my life, and I want to give back, like, not just more that I get, but also I want to give back because I value you as people. I value you as somebody that, as I said before, I either look up to you or I find value in our friendship. And I don't mean like monetary or anything like that. It's like you are a good person. And I sometimes I like one of my friends, one of my newer friends, I should say. I didn't know him very well, and I kind of brushed him off at first because I thought he was annoying. And after I talked to him, he's not as, into a lot of the things, but he's not, and he does have a bit of a temper, and he does have a little bit of a whatever, just go away kind of thing. And it's not. I think that's just immaturity, and they'll probably get over that. But a lot of people have that. I mean, I've had that. I've had that dismissive quality. I mean, my brother probably has that. A lot of people in my family have that, actually. And so I can't really say that that's bad or it's wrong. It's just kind of frustrating at times. I want to talk about something, or we want to do something, and then it's just like, it's not going the way I want it to. So yeah, that's kind of frustrating when they do that. But I didn't give you the chance up front, and I was being very kind of a jerk in that fashion, where I was doing that to you because you were being kind of annoying, and I don't want to deal with this right now. And that I shouldn't do that. I shouldn't brush off people because they're being annoying, because I don't know you. I don't know why you're doing the things you do. Maybe you were going through a bad day, or somebody else was annoying you, and that's why you were doing that. And what does bother me, and this is going to be the last thing, I'm going to end the video. I know it's long. I know this is a really long video. The one thing that bothers me is when you try to do something at somebody else's expense. And this, I was talking to you about this earlier, and this is somebody else. This is somebody else. When I know you're trying to have fun, we're playing a game or a video game, or we're talking about something with a group of people, it is not okay for you to take the joy from somebody else so that you can have fun. I do not believe that is a dynamic that you want to promote. I don't think that that's what a good friend would do. And we've had this conversation before, and you agreed with me, but then you did it again, and then we had another kind of conversation about it, and you apologized, and then you did it again. And I'm trying to explain this. You can have fun, and I am completely guilty of being annoying, and of not knowing when to back off and say, you know what, I'm going to not do this again, because I don't really pay attention sometimes. And I am guilty of that. But you were aware, and you did it, and you did it, and you did it, and it was very annoying. Everyone in the group was telling you were annoying, and you wouldn't stop. And it was sucking the fun for everyone else out, and you were having a blast. And I can appreciate that it was a game. No one was actually being hurt or anything like that. It's not like you were, trashing somebody's house or anything like that. You were just messing up the game. But it's not an okay thing to promote, because if everyone did that, no one would be having fun. It would be catastrophic, and then everyone would be mad at each other, because everyone was mad at you. You were mad at us. Even though you were having so much fun, you didn't care. And then when I retaliated by killing you in the game, you got mad at me, even though I was just trying to make you stop. Because it was Minecraft, and they were trashing the entire house pretty much in the game. It's a stupid game. It's a game. We were having fun, and it's a game. But he just kept trashing the house over and over again, and we were like, stop. I'm glitching through the things you're putting everywhere because they're all messed up. And there are half blocks everywhere. And then you did it again, and then you did it again, and everyone was telling you to stop. And it was just, that kind of behavior, it's not inherently something that is always bad, because if people are fine with it, that's fine. We were asking you very nicely at first, please stop, and you weren't. And that I appreciate the conversations we have greatly. I really like the kinds of things that you want to talk about, the kinds of things that you want to learn about, or that you want to just you want to vent, or you want to ask me about certain things. And you're like, there's a lot of things that we do, and then we play games a lot too, so we have that casualness as well. But when you do that, and I've tried to explain this before, is you have a very large group of friends. You have a very, very much larger than mine, and at least as far as I can tell. And because I don't know all of them, I just know that there's at least 8 people that you talk to regularly in a very large group chat. And I don't do that with my friends. Are all isolated. They're all in little pockets. So that's why I mean by you have a large group of friends. And it's a very, very large group. And when you do that with all of them at the same time, or with pockets of them as well, because you seem to do this a lot with everybody. And I don't know if it's because you seek attention, or because you've admitted that you have a hard time with your impulse control. You mentioned that yesterday, that you have impulse control problems. If that's the case, I can obviously understand, when you're just not aware of it, or you just can't stop because it's so much fun. But you have to understand that if your friends are actually being hurt because of this, because they're stressed out from something and they just want to relax, and they go into a game because you invite them or whatever, and then you just immediately start trolling them, it's not a good thing for your friends, because you are taking something from them. They wanted something to comfort them, and you are doing the exact opposite of that, because you're doing it under the guise of playing, because you're playing with them, like messing with them. And again, I understand that it's just a game and no one can actually get hurt. But the reason for a lot of these games is because people are stressed out. One of your friends wanted something very casual, very relaxed, and obviously it wasn't exact. Minecraft isn't the most calming and relaxing, not the mod pack we were playing anyway. It's a very hardcore mod pack, but we were progressing in it, and the other person was just like, yeah, let's do this. And then you just messed a whole bunch of stuff up, and it felt like we lost a lot of progress, or we didn't gain as much progress as we could have because of what you were doing. And you're like, hey, can you help me with this? No, I'm doing this. But then you weren't actually doing what you said you were doing. You were just trolling people. And so when he found out what you were doing, he was mad at you. And it's just it's a stupid thing. It's a little stupid thing. And that's the kind of thing that doesn't have to happen. Because there's so many, if you want to do that, if you want to troll people, if you want to just kind of mess with people, make sure the situation is set up for that. Don't mess with somebody that's actually having a hard time already. He wanted, the third person, not the person that was messing with everyone, the third person wanted something to have fun with because he was actually having a really crummy day. And you knew that. You knew he was having a bad day. And he was asking you to please stop over and over again. And he was getting more, it was escalating. And that's one of the main reasons why I killed you in the game, is I was trying to get you to stop. It was bothering me. It was bothering him. You were just ignoring everything we said because you just thought it was the funniest thing in the world. And it pushed us into an unfair area of experience. Because what do? We either let you continue, or we retaliate, and now we're the bad people for not being able to handle it. Or there's some third option where we somehow convince you to stop, but then you'll do it again. And and this is the conversation I was having before of, I hold you to a higher standard. And we have had this exact conversation before. But I don't know exactly how to address it without being, pushy or being this kind of, you should, finger waggle, get better kind of mentality. It's just, I want you to understand that when you do that, you hurt your friends. When you do that, they are less likely to want to play those games with you. and I know it's a little thing. It's a little thing, and maybe I'm making a big deal out of something that the other person's probably forgotten about already. But I do see it as a continuous thing. Like most games, you'll either do it once or twice, or you'll do something and they'll just say, please stop doing that, and you'll do it one more time and then you won't do it again. But you'll almost always. I don't like using the word always. That's why I tried to say almost always. I need to make sure I don't do that in my mind. You tend to add that extra one in just because it bothers them, or that they've asked you to stop, and you're like, oh, it'll be funny if I do it one more time. But because you do that, and then you'll do it 5 minutes later, and like stop it, and then you'll do it one more time, and then like 5 minutes later you'll do it again, and it's this kind of I'm having less fun because of it, or they're having less fun because of it. And empathy is a two-bladed weapon as well, because I know when it's bothering other people, and because they'll say, and then it'll bother me, and it'll ruin the games for all of us. And I just want you to understand that that's actually a thing that affects your friends, and I'm not going to use names. The only name I've said in this video is Marcus, and I think he's okay with that because I've talked about him before, and he's been fine with it as far as I can tell. But when your friends want to relax, when they want to have a good time, they're either seeking to escape from something. That's why they play games, or they're seeking to bond with their friends. Or they're trying to have a better experience for their day. They're just some reason. It doesn't matter what the reason is, and you're taking that away, or you're taking it and you're just like rubbing it a little bit, and then leave it alone. It's fine. I just wanted to do that, and continuously doing that. It might not matter to some of your friends. Some people just don't care, and it's whatever. And they have their own annoyances, and as I said, the other person is prone to anger and prone, it's really easy to antagonize them. So maybe that's why you do it. I don't know, but it's just, I find that when somebody does that, they're less likely to care about oh yeah, I care, but then you do it again. You're not following through with what you're saying. And I don't think that's... I do believe that you are sorry when it actually, when they explode, when the third person explodes, and they're like, you know what, I'm done, I'm leaving, and they actually leave, and you're like, I'm sorry, but then you do it again. So you're not actually sorry. The apology is a form of appeasement. It's I'm going to apologize because I don't want you to react. But you're not sorry for your actions. You're sorry for their reaction to it. And that's what I've seen. And I don't think that either you don't understand that, or you really do just have impulse control issues, and you don't mean to do it, and you just have to do it. But I want you to understand that your friends... They're your friends for a reason. They're not just doing it out of, because it's easy. And that's how they start. Like, oh, we go to the same school, or, we're in the same class or whatever. And it's like, oh, well, let's be friends. You have the same shirt on that I like, or whatever. It doesn't matter. The arbitrary reasons why friendship starts, but the way they have longevity is through consideration and through just this valuing them as a person. And when you say you're sorry when you don't actually mean it, it takes away from that. It's an appeasement, and appeasement is not good in that fashion, because you're trying to bring him back. You're trying to okay, I'm going to test this. I'm going to see how far I can antagonize this guy until he leaves, and I'm going to pull him back with just, I'm sorry. And then they come back, and now you know where that line is, and you just keep pushing it till you can, and it's not good. And that's probably not exactly what you're doing, but it's how your actions are reflected in what I believe is happening. So, you know who you are, and, I don't know where you live. I was going to make that horrible joke, but it's just, I know what you want to be. Like you've said it before, you want to be a good person, you want to be good for your friends, you want to be good for... all of these different things. And that is a step in the wrong direction. As my friend who was shoplifting, I will point it out. I will say, if you want to be a good friend, if you want to be at least not as, if you want to be a better friend, I guess I should say, if you want to be better for your friends, don't antagonize them. Don't purposely try to ruin their fun. And I know you're not trying to ruin the fun, but you are aware that your actions are hurting the fun. And sometimes it really does get to the point where they leave and he's like, I'm not going to play this game anymore. It's not fun because of what you're doing. And that has happened several times in the games I've played with your group of friends. And I've been trying to, learn more about them. It's like I just learned that two of the people have very similar names like 2 days ago. It's like I thought they were the same person for a long time because they have very similar names and they're never in the same call for some reason. But I know I'm annoying sometimes. I know that I'm not the best kind of person. I can't be, the end all of, I am right all the time. But this is one of the things I do know is when you antagonize a friend that's already having a bad day and then you apologize, but then you do it again, you are setting the idea that you actually don't care. And I know you don't want that. And I know you're not that kind of person when you honestly give it the attention. I think it's just a lack of, understanding of what you were doing. So that's my belief anyway. And I know this is a very long last part, but that's it. That's all I wanted to talk about. And I wanted to say that thank you all for being there for me, and I'm going to always try to be there for you. And I think that this is going to be the only one I really address to my friends. I think most of my videos are going to be fairly, I am talking to the world. And I know this is kind of me talking to the world, but this is also me talking to my friends as well. Is I care about you, and I know that I'm not always a great person, so I apologize for that. And I know some of you are going to say, don't apologize, because I'm always telling other people to not apologize for stupid things. And I just wanted to say all that. Thank you all for watching. I hope that I'll do my intro or my outro. Sorry. I hope this was entertaining. I hope it was informative. I hope you had fun watching, or that in some fashion you enjoyed the video. And I hope you have a nice day, and peace.